Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. We are Kenneth and Lisa Bristol from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and we want to share with you just a little information about a topic that we talk about a lot in this industry. You'll hear this often. You'll see it posted on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn. And what the training topic is today is the math behind the 4%. And, when I hear this, I ask people because my wife and I get prospected every week for a variety of businesses. And oftentimes we hear people say, well, 95 to 97% are going to fail in this industry. And I always ask people, well, how do you calculate that 4%? How did you come to that 4 percentile? Where do those numbers come from? Who did the math? Or are you just repeating what you heard? Oh, well, everybody knows that, da 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 da. And really, my wife and my wife's the brains behind the operation. I make no mistake about that. And she came up with this answer mathematically based on our 15 years of experience in this industry. And we just wanted to share that with you today so that you can understand why it is that we say in this industry that 95 to 97% fail. It's not that the majority of people out there are lazy or anything like that. I believe that it's because people don't really understand why that number seems so large. And our lifestyle and society standards, we live in a immediate gratification type lifestyle, and everybody wants success today, and they want it now. But this average 96% failure rate has existed for almost 100 years. So although society has changed and the speed in which we do business has changed with the internet and cell phones and things like that, but the average failure rate hasn't changed. And it's just an interesting topic when you really look at it and wonder why that is. Well, it is a fact that 96% of the people in this industry, on average, fail to generate the amount of revenue that they desire. Most people make a little bit of money. The average person in this industry will make about $100 a year. Now, that's not an impressive number, but we believe that number to be true. And when you add in the amount of money someone spent to create that $100, then it may or may not be considered profit because you have tax deductions associated with a home-based business and things like that. So you have to take all these things into consideration. How much is the auto ship? How much did they spend? What did they deduct? When it's all said and done at the end of the day, did I profit or did I lose? So the average income is statistics say it's about $100 a year, and that's just not worth the effort that people have to put into it if they discount the personal development. So again, it's subjective in that sense. But when you really look at this 95 to 97% failure rate, where does it come from? How do we arrive at that number? Well, the average 96% failing to create the income that they desire leaves an average 4% that do succeed. And this is the math behind the 4%. Now, if you consider this square to represent 100% of all the millions and millions of people that come through this industry worldwide, this box would represent them all. Then the math says, because it's an 80-20 rule in any company, in any industry, and anyone will tell you that 80% of that 100% are what we call jumpers or hoppers. We call them hippity hoppers. They hippity hop from company to company to company, product to product to product, comp plan to comp plan to comp plan, searching for what works for them. And many of them give up on their own hopes and dreams and goals, and they quit the industry altogether. These are your jumpers and quitters. 80% of the people that come through this industry hippity hop from company to company to company, product to product to product, comp plan to comp plan to comp plan. It's a fact. And sometimes it baffles me because I don't understand why people do the same thing over and over again and just expect different results. Simply because every company they've been in, every company comp plan or product they've hippity hopped into and out of, there were people there making money. Why did they fail to generate the revenue also? It was not the company, it was not the comp plan, it was not the product in the vast majority of cases. I would say 99% of the time. There are companies that go out of business. There were people making money, but I'm talking about the ones who jump in and jump out or quit altogether because they're not succeeding on a level that they desire. Well, there are people making money in that same company, within that same compensation plan, with that same product. So the question is, why is the individual that is not generating the desired revenue, what are they doing or not doing that everyone else is? Well, they can't figure it out, so it must be an external reason why not, and they move on to another company. This group of people never turn it inward and say, hey, maybe it's my personal development. Maybe it's me, since there are people here succeeding. These are the people that always have external blame. It's the sponsor, it's the economy, it's the team, it's my upline, it's the product, it's the presentation, it's the compensation plan. There's always some reason why they failed that is external to their own personal development. And then you have the remaining 20% who actually believe they can succeed if they just find the right combination, or if they can just get it together, if they could just find enough time, if they could just get the right sponsor. These are the 20% that believe they can have it. That's 100% of the people in the industry. Your hippity hoppers and your believers. Now, of this 20% who believe that they can have success, there's another 80-20 rule. 80% of the believers hope, wish, and pray that they finally have success. They don't necessarily engage, but they do stick around, and many of them are product users. They're hoping and wishing and praying they're getting the benefit from the product that they expect to get. Many people call them incubators. You can drip on them. They're growing, maybe at a slow pace, but they are there. They do believe, and they stick around. They're at all the meetings. They're the first one to jump up and testify that the product, comp plan, or company or team is awesome. They believe they can have success, and they hope, wish, and pray that one day they will. Now, that's the 80% of the 20% that believe. The remaining 20% of the believers are willing to fight for their success. They're willing to go through the trainings. They're willing to sacrifice. And don't be confused. There is a sacrifice involved for each person's success in any arena. It doesn't matter whether it's real estate or security or work or carpentry. There's a sacrifice that has to be made. When we go to work each day in a corporate job, we sacrifice time with our family to go make money at another job. There's always going to be sacrifice. This 20% is willing to pay the price for success. Success is not free. Success is not accidental. Success is a planned event. This 20% plan to succeed, and they go out and do what it takes to make it happen. So, to give you an overall bird's eye view, if you take everyone in the industry, just like in the corporate world, there's an 80-20 rule. You have your hippity hoppers and you have your believers. And of your believers, you have another 80-20 rule: the hope, wish, and pray, and the ones who are willing to fight, the ones who get it done, the ones who make it happen. Well, here's the math behind the 4%. The 20% of the 20% equals 4% of the whole. 20% of the 20% is 4% of the 100% of people. And just to give you a little idea, just to find one person who is willing to fight for their success, to attend the trainings, to do the practice, to practice what they preach, to walk the walk, talk the talk, and feel the feel, to find just one of those, then you're going to have 4 people who hope, wish, and pray, which gives you a total of 5 believers. If you have 5 believers, then you have 20 hippity hoppers, which means you have a total of 25 people that joined your team. Now, they might not all come from you. There's just 25 people on your team just to get down to the average of 1 that will go out and build it. Well, guess what? If you have 25 people that are on your team, those are the 25 people that joined. There's another 80-20 rule to get to the ones in the industry. Those are the ones that were contacted and invited. Well, if you take it up one more notch, you had to contact and properly invite 125 people just to get to the 25 that joined the industry, to get to the 5 that believe, to get to the 1 that will actually build a business. Most people will not talk to 125 people to get to the 25 that join. The majority of people, and I do mean the vast majority of people, will quit altogether or hippity hop to another company long before they properly invite 25 people, much less have 25 people who join the team. The question is, are you willing to take the time to work on your personal development and elevate your game to become one of the 4% and tell yourself, help yourself believe, to give yourself the vision and belief necessary where you will sit down and purposely plan your successful strategy to create the financial success, which is sustainable residual income. Do you want to be part of the 4% bad enough to do what it takes to personally develop and elevate your game to make this happen? That's the question. And that is the math behind the 4%. Thanks for attending this training and information session brought to you by Team United International, and dominate the day.